Bridenstine, a Republican from Oklahoma, said he introduced the bill in response to the tornado that killed 24 people in his district last year. You look at the wreckage and the results today, and many climate experts are saying this is a key time to move on that very bill, which would help the U.S. prediction technology catch up with better models used today in many countries in Europe. Now, despite the House's bipartisan and little-notice breakthrough here, the Senate has yet to act on the measure. Joining me now is Kate Sheppard, the environment and energy editor at the HuffPost's. Welcome. How are you?
I'm well. How are you, Ari?
I'm good. When we look at these events, first we obviously cover destruction. We have the regrettable loss of life. But as we were researching this today, it was striking to look at this issue of the prediction technology. Tell us about that.
Well, over the years, prediction technology has gotten a lot better. Now, scientists at the Weather Service can predict about 75% of the storms before they happen, and they get an average of 13 minutes warning. That's much better than it was even back in the 1980s when they only predicted about 25% of them, and they only got about 5 minutes warning. So it's gotten much better, but it could still get a lot better. As you mentioned, other countries have better satellite programs than we do and better monitoring systems, and so there's still a lot that can be done to improve those systems going forward.
Yeah, let me play a little more sound from Congressman Bridenstine on the issue here from the debate. Take a listen.
The Moore tornado killed 24 Oklahomans, injured 377, and resulted in an estimated $2 billion worth of damage. A warning was issued only 15 minutes before the tornado touched down, just 15 minutes. In fact, 15 minutes is the standard in America. Mr. Speaker, America can do better than 15 minutes.
I got to tell you, I agree with that, and if that's a sort of a version of in politics, what we call American exceptionalism, where you get everyone pumped up about the idea that we should at least do as well as any other country, and then you look at, again, as I mentioned, this kind of story today, and you say, this technology is available, it is relatively low cost by the standards of the federal budget, and the Weather Forecasting Improvement Act here would do this, and it's on the one hand boring when you look at weather legislation. I'm not surprised the Senate hasn't snapped it up yet. And yet, on the other hand, supremely important to potentially saving more lives.
It is really important, and it will save lives. I think that the Senate needs to act on this bill, and I think it will. The Senate has in the past supported more funding for these programs at NOAA. It's really a question of how to get that money to as soon as possible and to improve those systems as quickly as possible. But over the years, we've cut funding for programs like this. You look at the sequester. That was, indiscriminate cuts to agencies. It didn't really care about tornado programs. It cut the budget for things like that as well. And so going forward, we need to prioritize these programs across the board.
And real quick, this initially got weighed down by some climate change fights, and then those were resolved. Tell me about that.
This bill initially, when it was crafted, would have taken money away from climate change research and put it into this weather program. And a lot of people balked and said, it's really not fair to say that those are two separate things. Our understanding of climate and weather and all of those things are really interrelated, and it doesn't make any sense to take funding away from climate and put it into weather. And so they resolved that. In the end, the bill does not take money away from climate funding, but just puts more money into weather research. So that was a positive change, and it was a good that they passed the House in that way.
Right, and I thought that was a small example of some of the sort of good science on climate stuff not getting shut out, even though there's so much usually bad news on that politically. Obviously bad news when our hearts go out to this many people, who've been hurt and affected today. I would also be remiss, though, Kate, if I didn't ask, are those new red glasses?
They are new.
Okay, I like
Thanks.
them. I like them, and they're noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
Kate Sheppard of HuffPost's, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.